What lessons can you learn from your experience there?
Sure. The question is not about whether living in a cities or mega city is sustainable. The question is how to make living in the city sustainable. Because you know that the world cities occupy about 3% of the earth, but cities account 60 to 80% of energy consumption and 75% of carbon emissions. That's sort of the one side. But on the other side, cities are also economic engine of the world, and the majority of the population is now living in cities. So we must understand that a fight for climate must also be a fight for better livelihood. And the vast majority of people are still struggling with basic needs. That is what we are also experiencing. And, you know, they come to cities hoping to find better opportunities. Those urbanizations will continue. And therefore, effort to tackle climate change must also be understood by the people as means to improve their livelihood. So we're glad that Jakarta, I'm happy to report here, is on the right track in fulfilling the climate target. 2 years ago, in 2020, Jakarta reduced its greenhouse gas emissions by 26%. And with that pace, we're optimistic that 30% reductions of emissions that is targeted in the year 2030 can be achieved much sooner than expected. Because imagine in 2020, we reached 26%. So we have 8 years to go and more 4% to reach. On the other hand, we are also succeeded in showing our economic resilience by rebound from its lowest economic growth, negative 2.4% when the pandemic hit us in 2020. And we're back to positive 5.6% in the second quarter of 2022. So if we had to share one of significant progress over the past 5 years, I would say it's a transportation reform. The reform in that sector has produced significant impact. Transport, as we know, produces a significant amount of emissions. And in Jakarta, it contributes the largest share of emissions. It is around 70%. So shifting the public away from cars and motorcycles into public transport and non-motorized transport is one of the best ways to tackle climate issues in cities. And I think this is some of our important lessons. And providing an integrated and reliable public transportation system here in Jakarta, which we produce through a system called Jaklingko, became our priority, and it has made a huge change in our city. So transportation costs was estimated make up about 30% of household expenses. And with the new approach, citizens are now paying only 10,000 rupiah, around 60% in US dollars, to go anywhere in the cities. And in addition to affordability, an integrated public transport system also offers reliability, which increases productivity. And also, there is a positive side impact, which is promote social interactions. So the benefit, not only the community through its reliable services, but also the transport operators, the laborers, and everyone in the ecosystem were experiencing a new ecosystem that made public transport something of their benefit, and people feeling it as something that they a new experience that they enjoy. So with this approach, what we are seeing is this. One, the public were shifting away from private vehicles into public vehicles. We are reducing green carbon emissions. And on top of that, we are integrating our society. So the technology is there, policy option is there. This is from our experience. What is needed is political will. When there is a political will, it is translated into budget, and it is translated into policy actions, then public started to experience that reform. So that's some of our experience here in Jakarta. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Anies. So we've spoken about the optimistic. To you, Pak Anies, there are of course many eyes on Nusantara, but Jakarta is still going to remain the financial and business center. So how do you envision Jakarta after the move to the new capital?
Yes, indeed. Jakarta will continue to play its role as the hub of Indonesian economy, as well as culture, and net as a hub of transportation's logistical system. So Jakarta role in Indonesia will perhaps be more or less similar to what it is today. Its role as the capital city, as a central of government, central of political activity, may be reformed, but in its economic role, it will continue. And as you know, that the largest metropolitan is Jakarta. It is a megapolitan, but there are also big cities, and we will be the hub of all of that. And if I also may share, Jakarta will continue to be a benchmark for other cities in making a sustainable city doable. As I earlier mentioned about public transport, we know that across Indonesia, most urban areas still relied on private motorized vehicles, and Jakarta is shifting from car-oriented development into transit-oriented development. And that's one of an important role that Jakarta is showing to the rest of urban areas across Indonesia. Let's not repeat what we experienced in the past. Our size in terms of territorial is around 600 kilometers square. We have 11 million people, and we have 16 million registered vehicles. Let's assume 5 million of them were operating outside the city. Still, we have 11 million motorized vehicles, and we have 11 million people. That is what we are today. And it is a result of decades of development that is based on car-oriented approach. We started 5 years ago to embark on that new journey. That Jakarta is being developed as a transit-oriented city. And with that approach, we hope other urban area in Indonesia will also embark on that journey. That will tackle many things, such as climate challenge, and also about efficiency in our economy. As we know, that traffic congestion costs so much to the economy. On that approach, on transit-oriented, it is not only about building public transport, but also about creating green spaces. And all our cities across Indonesia will need to do that. So Jakarta started doing that. In the past 5 years, if I may share a little bit, we have developed no less than 400 parks and 48 urban forests across the city. And we are shifting our paradigm about parks. In the Indonesian terms, park is called taman, but the concept is garden. And we're shifting from garden to parks, even though the name is still called taman. Because garden is a place where you actually observe, you watch plantations, you watch flowers, you enjoy the greenery, but parks is a place to play. So urban areas as being reformed in terms of its park facility so that it will enable our community to enjoy interaction through parks and also to help create a more sustainable cities. So if I may conclude on your questions, on the one hand, Jakarta will continue to be the center of Indonesian economy, to be the hub of mobility across Indonesia. But let's not forget, it's in Jakarta that majority of reforms about urban management is also taking place. And that will benefit cities across Indonesia. So we do things that with that, the role of Jakarta as gateway to the world, and for the world to enter Indonesia will continue to be in Jakarta. So I'm pretty sure the vibrant city of Jakarta continue to play a significant and positive role in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Anies. We are running out of time, but I do want to do a quick round. If each of you can summarize in one sentence or less, you have each describe such thoughtful responses to how to build sustainable cities. But here's my question. If you were leading a whole country, what is the one thing you would do to ensure it is resilient and sustainable? Maybe we can start with Pak Anies.
Resilience and?
Sustainable, Pak.
We really have to make our cities more livable, and we have no choice. We don't want to move to Mars. We want to stay in our cities. And so we had no choice but to make our cities more livable. And doing so, we need the political will. The technology is there. The policy instrument is there. What is often absent is political will translated into fiscal and policy actions. That's what's needed. Thank you.